The Demeter, on charter from Romania to London. Shipping private crates. Contents unknown. Out at sea with no land in sight.
Demeter's a fine boat, no doubt.
It was great. I mean, we had amazing crews, amazing set designers, and people in every department. I cannot, say things, say high enough, good enough things about the German crew creating the ship, both interior, and then we went to Malta, and we built the whole exterior of the ship with real wood, and and it was just this. It was practically a real ship. And it was just, and in a way, for any normal-sized movie, it was an enormous endeavor to do that. Most of these seafaring movies cost much more than ours, Yeah, and I always wanted the evolution. I wanted to follow the story of Dracula, but not show him. That's a really tricky prospect because you can't show what you need to tell. So, but we in the end, he is a very old man who is in us over 400 years old, and I really wanted to see that on him. I wanted to feel his age. I didn't want him to be sexy or a suave kind of version of Dracula at all. I wanted him to be somebody who's lived with this in this horrific lifestyle that obviously he does, and he's frail. He's really desperate for blood. When he loses his blood supply, he needs to just, he's in a desperate situation until he's able to kill the first crew member. And I wanted to try to tell that story and how he then, as he gains power, he's then able to again gain the power to recreate the demon within him, have it manifest. And that demon needed to be part bat, part demon, because the bat part of a vampire is really intriguing, and I wanted to make sure, and with the producer, Brad Fisher, he also was a big part of this, creating this, with the designers and everybody, where everything had to be biological, like the way the arms are, and the way the flip, the arm would turn into a whole extended wing, and how the eyes would work, and how he flies and moves and lands and all that stuff. We were studying bats and bats and bats. So yeah, it's incredible. I mean, he's absolutely amazing, and he's such a trooper on set. He knows what it takes to do these kind of difficult parts, and it's so hard on him. And if you see the behind the scenes stuff or something, you see what a terrible situation he's constantly in physically to be able to do this. But he's so agile, he's so friendly, he's so, even in the most, in the middle of the night when it's all, we've been there for hours and hours, and he was there 4 hours before us because he was in a makeup chair getting ready. He's still, there's still a smile on his face. He's still able to work with the character and the needs of the scene. I mean, I think that this is like Alien. It's just that it's on a ship in 1897, and the creature is Dracula, and it's scary. I've been trying to make the scariest portrayal of Dracula in ages. That's been my goal, and I just hope that the audience embraces that.
Yeah, as they say, this ain't your mama's Dracula. This is a new version of it, but it's also a throwback again to old school filmmaking. Not necessarily that film, but it's it's the monster. You know, it's the thing of he's intelligent but he's also really scary. You know, and I think we've gotten used to a lot of vampire stories being very suave and sleek and sexy, and this version of Dracula is not that. He's scary and in your face, and it makes you uncomfortable in a really interesting way.
Well, it's a number of things. André Øvredal, when he contacted me, I'd loved the autopsy of Jane Doe, and it's almost like a play, and it's these people locked in this room, and for him to be able to raise that tension in a very confined space, which is essentially what's happening with this movie on this, well, although a much bigger space and a bigger canvas for André this time. And I just thought, okay, I want to work with this guy, and I have this weird attraction to horror movies. I don't know what I've done. The Mummy. I did a wonderful movie called Dog Soldiers about werewolves. And when Dracula comes along, you've got to be a hard man to turn down Dracula. And it was a really, really lovely script.
Well, I've been so very fortunate, very blessed. I've gotten to work with some of the great directors of our time. And André's work grabbed me by the little monster kid heart a long time ago. The first time I saw Troll Hunter, I remember saying, this guy, whoever made this movie, is really, really good. Then you see a film like The Autopsy of Jane Doe, and you're like, I've never seen a movie like that before. I knew that whoever made that film was somebody very special. He also adapted one of my favorite books as a kid for a big studio picture, which was Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, which I loved. I went and saw it as a matinee while I was filming The Suicide Squad. I'll never forget. And I sat in the theater. I was like, gosh, I really love this guy. So the fact that I get to be in André's vision of a Dracula film and knowing André's monster kid heart that has, been pounding in his chest since he was a little boy in Norway, made me very confident that I was in great company. He's such a kind and soulful person.
In the night, it drinks our blood. He is here. We call him Dracula.
He's coming!
Did you see the size of that bloody thing?
I'm gonna kill the cursed thing.
He is on this ship, which means that we will never leave it.
The devil is real. May God have mercy on us all.